Spring has sprung. Any ideas what this expression means? Well, it means that spring has arrived. Spring, of course, is the season, and then we have the verb to spring. The three forms are spring, sprang, and sprung, like ring, rang, rung. And to spring means to jump suddenly. So this basically means that all of a sudden, spring has arrived. I love this season. The signs of new life that we can see everywhere are just incredible. For example, we can see the buds on the trees, the new flowers like daffodils and tulips. The baby animals are being born, the calves and the lambs and the kids, which are baby goats. The darker days of winter are behind us, and we finally have the longer, warmer days that spring brings. Especially if you live in a country like the UK, where the days in the winter are incredibly short, you really appreciate this season. I have already given you the first expression related to spring, and let's have a look at the rest of the phrasal verbs, expressions and idioms that I have for you today. The second expression that I have for you today is spring to life, and this means to suddenly become very active or very busy. For example, after his morning coffee, he really springs to life. Number 3 is to nip something in the bud. Here the connection to spring is the word bud, which is the new flower that begins to grow. I will put a picture here so that you can see what I mean. And if you nip something in the bud, you stop something from happening before it has the opportunity to become established. An example could be the government decided to close the tax loophole to nip tax avoidance in the bud. A loophole is a small mistake in a law that allows somebody to avoid something. Number 4 is a phrasal verb, and it is to spring up, and this means to appear suddenly. For example, many shops and bars have sprung up recently. Number 5 is to have a spring in your step, and this means walking in a way that shows you are very happy and that you are feeling incredibly confident. For example, she has definitely been walking with a spring in her step since she got that job she wanted. 6 is to spring into action, and this is to suddenly start doing something. For example, it's time we sprang into action. We can't stand around doing nothing all day. 7 is another phrasal verb. It is to brighten up, and this simply means to get brighter. For example, the day started off rather cloudy before brightening up in the afternoon. The 8th expression is spring clean. This is a noun and a verb, and it means to give your house a deep annual clean, and as the name suggests, this is usually done in the springtime months. An example could be, after the long winter, they decided to give their house a spring clean. You can let me know in the comment section below if this is something that you typically do in your culture as well. Number 9 is as fresh as a daisy, and the daisy is a flower that we associate with spring and brightness, freshness, all of these great things. So you might say, you look as fresh as a daisy, you must have slept well. Number 10 is to liven up, and this means to become more interesting or exciting. For example, it took an hour before more people arrived and the party finally livened up. I think number 11 is a beautiful idiom, and it is, great oaks from little acorns grow. And maybe you have a similar expression in your language, and it means something great, important and successful can start from something small and simple. For example, the huge success of the family business is proof that great oaks from little acorns grow. Number 12 is an April Fool, and an April Fool is a trick or a joke that is played on April Fool's Day, which is on the 1st of April every year. You have to be careful what you believe on the 1st of April because it could be an April Fool. So take care if you're reading anything or watching anything on April Fool's Day, it could be a trick. Number 13 is spring chicken, and a spring chicken is basically a young person, and it is usually used in the phrase no spring chicken. For example, I'm no spring chicken anymore, so I have to take things more seriously. 14 is spring to mind, and this means to come to your mind quickly or to think of something quickly. And the example is, what springs to mind when you think of the UK? And you can answer that question below. What immediately comes to your mind? What springs to your mind when you think of the UK? 15 is to warm up, and this can literally mean to get warmer, or it can mean to do gentle exercises before you start more vigorous physical activity. For example, after months of cold weather, it is finally starting to warm up. Number 16 is to be full of the joys of spring, and this means to be incredibly happy. For example, why do you look so happy today? You are full of the joys of spring. 17 is to be mad as a March hare. This is a hare. It's similar to a rabbit but bigger, and in March they typically get very excited. It is usually mating season for rabbits and hares in the spring, and so they can get a little bit crazy, I think is where this idiom comes from. And it means to be extremely silly or stupid. For example, I don't know what the matter is with him today. He is as mad as a March hare. The last spring related expression that I have for you today is April showers bring May flowers. And we often say this to make ourselves feel better in April. April in the UK can be an incredibly rainy month. And so when it's raining and raining and raining, you might say, well, don't worry, because April showers bring May flowers. So we put up with the rain now so that in May we have the most beautiful flowers. That's it from me today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've learned something new. I'd also love to know what spring is like where you are from. Do you celebrate spring in some way? Let me know in the comments section below. If you have enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to hit the like button. That helps me out more than you know. Thanks so much for watching, and we will speak again very soon. Bye for now.